Hi there, it's Dr. Bernstein, and in today's video I'm going to teach you some basic rules for formatting essays. Now, these formatting rules are really simple, but they're also important. Small details like whether or not you've got your spacing and margins set properly, whether or not you're using a serious authoritative font, and whether or not you follow the rules regarding formatting your first page. These small details matter. Why? Well, the answer is also very simple. These details are part of the first impression you make on your reader. So your professors are not going to have a very favorable impression of you, or even your clients won't have a favorable impression of you if the first thing they notice is that your font size is huge, or that you didn't even take the time to make sure you put the necessary information on your first page. So what you really want to do is make as strong a first impression as possible and then follow that up with great substance and style. So with these issues in mind, I want to turn your attention to how to format the first page of your essays. So let's take a look. Here, I'm going to get the screen a little bigger so it's easier for you to see. So what I want to call your attention to right now is the upper left-hand corner of the first page. Now, this is only the format for the first page of your essay. So what you want to do is you want to have your first name and your last name. Then you want to have your professor's name, and it's always wise to call your professors by their proper titles. Some professors, like your teachers, are doctors. I am a doctor, I have a PhD. So just out of respect, you use that title, Dr. Bernstein. Or if you don't know if your professor, if you know your professor doesn't have a doctorate, you can just refer to him as Mr. or her as Ms. If you're not sure, I don't know. If I wasn't sure, I would go with doctor just to be on the safe side. Then you have, and note you should always spell your professors' names properly. And then what you have is the course subject. So for us, it will be English. The course number, so we're 102, a period, and then the course section, and we're W11 or W11. Then on the next line, you have the date that your paper is due. And that should be the same day that you submit it. So you'll notice the formatting is a little bit strange. You have the day that it's due, followed by the month, followed by the year. So this is the proper format for the upper left-hand side of the first page of your essay. And you'll notice here your entire essay is double spaced. Don't add any extra spaces in your essay. So even this top information is double spaced. Then you have your title. This is important because every paper you write for our class, you need to create a powerful, thought-provoking, compelling title for your essay. So the title of your essay is not in bold, it's not underlined, it's not italicized, it's not in quotation marks, it's just your title. Sometimes people like to have a short title followed by a colon and then a longer subtitle. That's up to you to experiment with. And it should be centered, your title should be centered on the page, and the appropriate letters should be capitalized. You'll also notice that in the upper right hand corner of the page, you need to have your last name followed by a space and then the page number. If you don't know how to format it so that this information automatically appears on the top of your page, if you go to our D2L site, go over to the content page, under important information, you will see something called formatting rules, and it will provide, that document provides you with step-by-step instructions for using Microsoft, I think it's 2007, to set up the headers for your papers. That would be your last name and the page number. It has information about if you notice that your computer is adding an extra space between paragraphs, I show you how to get rid of those extra spaces. It also shows you how to choose the fonts and change the fonts for your paper. So if you need a refresher on that, go over to the content section of our D2L page and click under important information, click formatting rules. So all of the pages of your essays should have this header with your last name and the page number. You should also, in general, I recommend using one of two fonts. Either Garamond, that's spelt, I'll just type it in here right now, it's Garamond 12 point, or Times New Roman 12 point. And I'd show you, but I have an Apple computer and it's a little bit different from most computers. But these are the two, really two of the most respectable, authoritative fonts. They're people who actually study fonts and the effect they have on readers. And someone was telling me once that Garamond is considered a very authoritative looking font. So sometimes just the font that you choose can actually make you look more serious. And if you choose something silly like someone once submitted a paper to me in Comic Sans, so it looks sort of playful. It's hard to take that font seriously. So I recommend the Garamond 12 point. That's my personal favorite, but Times New Roman or any basic font is good. Now, what I want to focus on now is telling you a little bit more about parenthetical citation, because as you know, you need to use at least one direct quote from a poem in each body paragraph. You also need to use quotes from Colin's interview. And as you know, you need to use signal phrases to introduce these quotes. I'm not sure if I already told you this, but you need to use what's known as parenthetical citation at the end of every sentence that includes a quote. For this essay, all you need to do in the parenthetical citation is put the line number for quotes from poems and the page number for quotes from the interview with Collins. You don't write the word line or page, you just put the page number. So you'll notice this last sentence in the sample essay we have here has a quote. So rather she wanted to, that would count as the signal phrase. Then we have the direct quote, and then that direct quote is followed by the parenthetical citation. So you see here it's just the page number, page 5. Within the parentheses, the period goes after the parentheses. It doesn't belong inside your quote. And that's the very most simple way to use parenthetical citation. And another thing I want to tell you here is that for this essay, your first essay, you do not need to create a works cited page. I really want you to focus on showing me that you've learned a lot about structuring opening paragraphs and body paragraphs that focus on writing really beautiful sentences and developing your ideas and learning these basic formatting issues that we've been talking about. That's enough for this paper, in my mind. So now that you've learned some more important details about formatting, make sure that you employ these rules in your papers. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to post them on our discussion board.